Hello guys, so in this video I'll be helping you guys structure your CV nicely so that you attract more recruiters or more employers, because as you might already know, if your CV is not that attractive or appealing, you don't be able to actually go into the next steps of getting into an interview, because the recruiters or the employers, they go through a lot of candidates, so they need to make sure that their process is done quickly. So if your CV is not appealing or attractive enough in the first 5 seconds, then they'll skip to the other candidates. So you need to make sure that your CV looks structured nicely. So I'll be helping you guys structure your CV nicely in this video. So without wasting any time, let's get right into it. Okay, now we're gonna break down the whole CV and see how I usually structure my CV. So yeah, the first thing that you want to mention on your CV, like on the right hand side, so it's your role. So the role, the actual position you're applying for. So over here I was applying for a full stack engineer role. So mention the role that you're applying for. If it's a web developer job, mention that. If it's a software engineer role, mention that at the top there. Then you can write your name, your full name there. Doesn't need to be your whole name, like your first name, your second name, and your last name. It can be just your first name and your last name, so that your CV can be simple and precise. Then on the right hand side here, I have my contact information. You can either put this on the left hand side, which doesn't really look nice for me, so that's why I actually put this information on the right hand side. So make sure you put your contact information as well, but I recommend you to put it on the right hand side, because on the left hand side is what the recruiter or the person who will be reading your CV will likely see first. So yeah, on the contact information section, I have my cell phone number. Make sure that you put that there. Make sure that it's there, because usually they don't really contact you using your email. They might call you, or they might actually WhatsApp you. So I recommend you guys to actually put the cell phone number that you use for both WhatsApp and also for calls, because I have seen some instances where I've gotten some messages on WhatsApp from recruiters instead of actually getting a call or getting an email from them. So yeah, the cell phone number that you put there should be the one that you use it for calls and WhatsApp. Then another thing that I include is my LinkedIn profile. So I have my LinkedIn profile over there. So this is just a link to my LinkedIn profile. So as you can see, it has an underline. So that tells the recruiter that this is just a link. So when they actually download the PDF, they'll be able to have access to this link, and they can just click on that and it will take them to my LinkedIn profile. So make sure you have that on there. Then also I have my GitHub account over here, so they can just click on that and it will take them to my GitHub account, and they'll be able to see all the projects that I've been working on, so they can just have a whole idea of what kind of a developer I am. So yeah, make sure that you have your GitHub account as well. Then the last thing that you need to make sure that you have over there on the contact section is your email address, because sometimes they might not use your cell phone number. It just depends on the recruiter themselves on what type of communication they want to use. So sometimes they might use email, so make sure that you have your email address over there. Then we're gonna move forward to the objective section. So this is how I've structured my CV. So you can just take how I've structured it and structure it the way I've structured it, or you can make some few adjustments however you like. So on the objective section, what you need to mention is just your strengths. So make sure that you have your strengths there. Focus on your strength first, because that needs to attract the person who will be reading your CV. So make sure that you have everything that you think are your strengths. Mention that over there, and mention anything that will be of value to the company. So make sure that you have that in place before anything else on the objective section. You need to make sure you use this section to actually attract the recruiter, right? So make sure if you have any degree, if you have any certificates, write them over here so that they can actually see that whilst they are getting to this section immediately when they get to this section, so that you can attract them, so that you can have that eager to go through your whole CV or your whole resume, right? So make sure that you have all that first. Then you can mention anything else that you think will be attractive to the recruiter, right? But make sure that if you have any degree, if you have any certificates, if you have something of value that will be of value to the company, make sure that you mention that first, right? So just tailor it to the company that you're applying for and the position that you're applying for, right? So if you just use a template on every single job that you're applying for, it might not be appropriate for the company that you're applying for or the role that you're applying for. So make sure that you just tailor it whenever you're applying for a job so that it can look specific or appropriate for that specific position, right? So yeah, that's for the objective section. So you can just read everything that written here and you can just tailor it however you want. Then we have the skills section. So on this section, you just mention every skill that you think will be of value to the company, but make sure you write the skills that the company are looking for first. So if the company is looking for a JavaScript developer, you'll actually write that skill first before any other skill that you have, right? So if they're looking for someone with JavaScript, React, Angular, or Node.js and Express and MongoDB, write those skills first before any other skill, because that will really attract them and they'll be able to go through all the other skills that you have that will be beneficial. So make sure you have the skills that the company is looking for first down over here before any other skill, so that they can actually go through all the other skills if they want to, right? And on this section, don't just write your technical skills, make sure you also write your soft skills. So write any skills that you think that you have or that you know that you have that will be beneficial, right? So yeah, that's the skills section. Then we have the experience section over here. So sometimes you might not really have any work experience, right? You might just be a self-taught developer and you've never gotten any work experience. So I'll just show you how I did it. So this is a CV, or my current CV rather. This is just a CV that I usually apply with, but for the company names I've just removed that, but this is just what I use to apply to jobs. So if you have gotten a job before, you can actually structure it this way. Make sure you just write the role that you actually were on, like the role that you're working at the company. So I was working as a junior full stack engineer, so that's why I've written that. So that's the role. Then write the company we were working for. So this is the company I've been working for, so I just wrote company A because I didn't want to disclose the company. Then over here, just write the year you started working at that company and the year you separated with the company. So I started working in July 2021, as I've mentioned in some of my videos. Then I stopped working there in February 2023, right? So yeah, that's the first company I was working for. So then once you got that done, then you can just make bullet points, or you can just write a paragraph of everything you were doing at the company. So as you can see, I was planning, I was designing, I was building, and I was maintaining the web application using Figma for design and Adobe XD. Then I was using React Redux for the front end. Then I was using MongoDB, Node.js, Express for the APIs. Then I was also using AWS for just deploying their application and using some of the services to actually make the application more effective. Then I was also using SaaS, then GitHub and Git for version controls, right? Then I just mentioned everything that I was doing in the company, like doing the HTML templates. Then I was also using PayFast to actually integrate the payments on the platform, right? So just mention everything that you were doing at the company that will be of value to that company, right? So if this company is actually in the financial sector and they see that you were actually using PayFast, that will be of a good value, or that will be attractive to them, because PayFast, as you know, they're actually a gateway for payments. So if they're in the financial sector and they see that you were doing something related to the payments, so that may be attractive in some way. So that's why you need to actually mention everything that you're doing at that company. But make sure that you don't write a lot of lines or a lot of bullet points or a lot of paragraphs, because it might be daunting to read everything. So just make sure you keep everything simple and concise so that it's easier to read and they can just be able to read everything, right? So the second role that I am at the moment, so I just wrote full stack engineer there. So as you can see, then that will be the company that you're working at or you are working at the moment. Then as I told you, just write the year that you started working at that company and just the dash to separate that and the year that you stopped working at the company. But in this case, I'm still working at this company, so I just wrote present. So I started working February 2023 until now. So that's why I wrote present over there. Then I just wrote everything that I was doing at the company and just the tools that I was using at the company. So if this company I'm applying at the moment, they're using some of the tools, that will be actually attractive to them because they see that you are already exposed to these tools, right? So yeah, just write the tools that you're using. Also make sure that you write everything that you're doing at the job, right? But keep it as simple as possible. Don't write many lines or many bullet points or many paragraphs because that will not be easy to read. So yeah, that's why I keep it simple. Then if you don't really have any work experience, just use what I did here. So I just wrote web developer. So this is just a side project or a hobby project that I did, but I just wrote web developer so that it's attractive to read. Then I just wrote music app, so that's the application that I've built. So just write the name of the application or the type of application that you want to actually showcase here. So I just wrote music web app. Then I just mentioned that this is a side or hobby project. Then the first bullet point here, I just mentioned what the application does. So I'm just describing the whole purpose of the application, right? Or what I was actually aiming to do with this application, right? So make sure you have that down, describe what the application is and what the purpose of the application is. Then once you got that done, just mention all the tools that you use to actually build this application and to actually deploy the application, right? So mention all the tools that you've used in actually building this application, so that if some of the skills that you've used here are some of the skills that they're looking for, that will be a plus for you because they know that you're already exposed to these tools. So mention that everything that you used in building that application, right? So yeah, if you don't have any experience, follow the structure. Just write the name of the application or the type of application, and also mention that it is a side project. Then on the bullet points, the first point, just mention or just describe what the application or the whole purpose of the application is. So just describe the application. Then the second point, just mention all the tools that you've used to actually build this application and to deploy this application, right? So also, as you can see here, I have this link, so they can be able to click on this link over here and it will take them to the actual application so they can see how it looks like and they can just interact with it if they want, or they can just spend a few seconds looking at it to see how I actually approach in building projects, right? So yeah, that's how you can structure your CV. I hope this video helped you guys to actually structure your CV nicely, because like I've mentioned, you need to actually make sure that you structure your CV nicely so that you can attract these recruiters, because they make sure that they don't spend a lot of time on your CVs, so they just spend 5 seconds or 7 seconds. If you don't attract them within that timeline, then they'll move on to another candidate who has a better CV, and they'll spend time on that candidate to see other skills that they have. So you need to make sure that you have everything that they need right in front of their eyes immediately when they look at your CV, right? So that's gonna do it, guys. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit that bell icon so that my content gets directly to you. And make sure you like this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have an awesome day. Bye.